And welcome back to Blue Shirts Buzz, where we talk everything New York Rangers. I'm your host, Matt Biscazzi, with my wonderful co-host, John Horton. Definitely check us out on Twitter at BlueBuzz26, and let's get right into it today. So this team still kind of sucks. Going to be a lot of the same sentiments that we've been kind of rolling back the past couple weeks here. They haven't really given us a lot of other things to talk about, unfortunately. We will certainly get into the Sam Rosen special ceremony that happened this past weekend as well. I figured we'll start with that because that is a little bit more exciting than the doom and gloom that is this team at this point right now. But of course, before we get into all that stuff, how you doing, good sir?
I am frustrated. I'm not having fun watching this team. I'm not having fun trying to calculate what the outcome will be. A lot of despair, desperation, lack of dignity with this team. Sucks. Really does
Yeah.
suck. But and the unfortunate bad icing on the cake is it is Sam Rosen's final season. Good for him.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him. He has had a wonderful career. He is such an iconic voice. It's going to be shoes that'll never be filled, of course. I'm sure they'll do justice and get someone good for the position, but unless we're using the AI voice generator, it's going to be pretty
Yeah, it's
tough.
just
Pretty
not going to be
tough.
the same.
Yeah. So, yes. I forgot. Normal fashion, I would like to go through where the Rangers are in the standing and everything. They've
Yes,
just got
sir.
me so frustrated and this disconnected that I almost forgot to do that. So, in terms of the wild card, the Rangers are fourth. They are 72 games in, 34 wins, 32 losses, 6 overtime losses for 74 points, tied with the Islanders at 74 points as we are recording this Thursday afternoon, March 27th. So, yeah, and then I saw that Alexi Lafreniere partnered with some company in
Oh,
Canada that
Chopped.
like a Chopped. Yes,
The
thank you.
we have
It's
those in
a
the U.S. too. It's
Oh,
a
we do have
salad thing.
those?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
like a
didn't
salad
notice
bar.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the salad bar and, it's him in the commercial, and he
Yeah.
obviously can't say the Rangers, he has to say New York and all this stuff because of copyright, but my favorite comment was on Twitter, it was put up and somebody said, "Does the salad disappear after you pay for it?" So I thought that was
Dude.
pretty good allude to, what Alexei Lafreniere has been doing for us, and,
You know what's
he's
funny
not
too?
the
It's
only one.
called I think it's called the power play salad, but like he doesn't regularly get power play minutes, which
That
is
too, and we have a power play
a
that
laugh
can't
out of that.
score, and we have a coach
Yeah,
who
which
can't get this team
we'll
going, so
roll right into in this one here. But is there, you had mentioned the Rosen thing. We'll start with that. It's a little bit more.
yeah,
It's not a
absolutely.
happy moment, obviously, because he's retiring, but the ceremony was really special. Were you able to watch the pregame ceremony, or did you catch it
Yeah,
after the fact? You did? Okay, I was
yeah,
gonna
and
say I
then
don't know.
I've been rewatching the videos of, like, him.
Yeah,
Like, he looks exactly the same, besides wrinkles. He has the same haircut and the
same
same
voice,
face.
same demeanor, same
Same
character. I
same
mean,
character.
he's so easy to like. He's a very respectful guy. I like that he's always thanking the right people. He's always saying the right things. Like a lot of these guys, they have to be professional when they're on the mic, but that's like him as a person outside of this, outside of being an announcer for the Rangers. Like you hear really wonderful things about his character. And yeah, I mean, it was just a really special ceremony. I hope you guys listening got to watch it. I do think they could have done a little bit more, which I'll get into in a little bit. But it was really nice. So for those of you that weren't able to watch it before the game on Saturday against the Canucks, they brought out Sam Rosen as well as his past two partners on the mic before Joe Micheletti in Phil Esposito and John Davidson. So they brought those two out, and then of course Joe Micheletti was out there as well as Sam and his wife. The crowd was going wild. The garden was rocking. They got Sam Rosen on the mic, and of course he gave a little bit of a speech. I do think they could have done a little bit more. Like it was, they kind of told the fans and everybody like, oh, get in your seats early, like that being a half hour before the game.
Mhm.
And they didn't do his ceremony until like right before puck drop. The guys were already out doing their laps. The starting lineups were on the ice and then basically told to skate over to the bench when they did the ceremony. So it's kind of weird to like have everyone set up and make this whole kind of fanfare. And then even Sam Rosen made a statement when he got on the mic. He's like, oh, I only have a couple minutes here. It's like he should have ample time. He should get 5 minutes. He should get as long as he needs to give his speech. I mean, I know you always
Yeah.
tell the guys a couple minutes, whatever, but the guy's been the voice of the New York Rangers for 40 years. You make a whole big stink about getting out there early and starting the ceremony early, and then you start it right before puck drop and almost rush it along. Like it seemed a little rushed. I also wish they threw up a banner for the guy. I mean, Fish has a banner for all their performances in
Oh,
NXT. Harry
the bad
Harry
fish.
Styles has a banner. Has a banner.
Yeah.
Billy Joel has had a million banners go up there. You can't give Sam Rosen the voice of the Rangers for 40 years of number 40 banner up there. I mean, I know we still have the rest of the season. I know they could do it the beginning of next year, bring them in and make it a ceremony, but you do those for players, like for their retirement ceremonies, right? Like you do it the next year at your usually your first home game because that's how you like bring them back. You honor them because they retired after the year prior, right? So I doubt they're going to do that for an announcer, especially considering if they did that at the beginning of next year, there's going to be another announcer on the mic at the time. So it's kind of it's like, why wouldn't you do it while he's still on the mic? But I don't know. I felt like they definitely could have done a little more, and I felt like it was a little rushed. I'm wondering if you felt the same way or if you thought, I mean, I will say, with those things in consideration, I still did get a little bit emotional. I mean, he's the only voice I've known of the Rangers my whole entire life. He's like I said, he's a great guy. He's easy to listen to. He loves the sport. He loves the players. He loves the people he works with. I mean, it's going to be jarring when there's another voice on there, day in, night out, night in, night out. So regardless of what they did, I think you would have had all these fans like me and you getting emotional anyway and just enjoying that ceremony. But still, I think they could have done more. And I'm curious what you thought about the whole ceremony there.
Yeah, I think off rip, I agree that jersey ceremony is a must. To your point, maybe they will do it end of the season, start of next season, but maybe
Mhm.
they could have just done it then and there. But I really hope they do. If not, at least he got the jersey, I guess, and I know I'm sure he enjoyed the ceremony overall. He seemed like he did. Um, I do think the timing of it was a little weird. I was surprised it happened. I thought they would just do it like whenever the last Rangers home game was. I thought that would
Yeah,
make more
I
sense,
thought so
but
too, honestly, but
maybe
I
they
think they did
wanted
it because it was
to.
a weekend. Because I looked into this and I was like wondering why they did it at this game. I think they did it just because it was a weekend home game. Because if you look at the
Yeah, that
rest of the
makes
schedule, we
sense. That
don't have
makes
another
sense.
weekend home game. So I guess that was the point. But even
To
then,
get
it's like if
yeah.
you do it on the weekend, so you have fans that are able to get there early, you have more fans in the building, but then you don't even make it this whole big kind of thing. Like the whole thing, the whole setup is just bizarre to me. I feel like they could have done more, but yeah, I
Yeah,
looked into that
that's
too. I
fair.
think they did it because it was our last weekend home game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I agree. I will. It's gonna be weird, different voice again, unless they use the AI voice. I keep pushing for that.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have to pay someone, right, James Dolan? Sure, that's music to his ears. So, yeah, it sucks, and it just sucks that like at the beginning of this season we were like, all right, we got so close to the chance to compete for the cup last year, losing in the championship, um, or conference final. I don't know why I call it championship. And let's just hope next year like this is our push. And then we blew up and decided we didn't want to play hockey. So that does suck. But Sam Rosen saw the team win the cup, the only cup in 80 something years, which is insane.
Mm,
I know it's 4 cups in 100 years almost because it'll be the centennial season
yeah.
next year, which the logo look cool. Hopefully the jerseys are cool. I will buy one. I just what sucks is I had like oh, I'm gonna get this player, this player, this player's,
Mhm.
and now with how everything's exploded, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get a non-player one, maybe, or maybe an Adam Fox one. Honestly, that
Mhm.
one might not be bad. So that's a little bit of a sidebar there. But yeah, I think it sucks that he's going. It sucks it had to be a season like this. That for his last season, I'm sure he didn't want it that way, but
Mm.
I'm sure he's happy enough, like with everything he's done. And I
Yeah,
really do pray that at the end of this season or start of next season, they retire that jersey up there. I mean,
dude, you gotta,
the
right?
Billy
I
Joel
mean,
thing, I get it's like the most shows ever played. The
mhm.
Harry Styles one, I I don't love Harry Styles, but he does have some
I
good
do
music,
understand, and he played, I
and
think
I
it was like,
understand him.
what,
It was
15 straight nights
16
or so,
it was
but yeah,
16 consecutive sold out nights. That's
it is
impressive.
a
I
feat,
gotta
like, it
give
is
it
a
to him.
feat, but he did
That's
that in
impressive.
a little over 2 weeks. Sam Rosen's been there for 40 years.
I
Like, I
agree.
just,
I do agree. I
uh,
do agree. So, um yeah, again, still pissed this team
yeah.
spit in his face and was like, "Yeah, we don't care." And Lafreniere's like, "Ooh, nice paycheck. I'm gonna go get a tan at the
Yeah,
beach."
after the game, he's going to get the power play salad.
The salad and sit at the beach. And then
Uh,
Igor is either the best or the worst. And then
I can't even
all the
I can't
veterans
blame
don't
Igor
care.
for anything going on at this point, though. I mean,
At
and
this
before
point,
we go
he's
into
playing
that,
better. So yeah,
I am
yeah,
curious about the Sam Rosen situation, and then I think we'll get our sponsor and then roll into obviously the talk of the games and everything, which again, we really not a lot of great stuff to
not
talk
much
about.
to talk about.
But
Yeah,
with the Sam Rosen replacement, this is something that's been an interesting topic, obviously, all year. Kenny Albert has been thrown around as kind of like the big name, the front runner. I've also heard Bob Wischusen thrown around. I've also heard Dave Maloney, and then I saw a dark horse one in Steve Valaket. I None of them are bad options, I will say. I think Kenny Albert's honestly the most likely. I think Dave Maloney is
Which one
probably
he
going to
again?
stay. Kenny Albert, he does all sorts of like national games and stuff. I mean, he does football, mostly football and hockey. When you hear his voice, you know it. He also does radio stuff for MSG a lot. Like he'll do radio stuff for the
Oh,
Rangers
okay.
as well.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
you've
know.
heard his
Yeah.
voice. He's one of those like if you saw him, you'd recognize him maybe a little bit, but you hear his voice and right away it's unmistakable. Dave Maloney's awesome, but I think he's going to stay on the radio side of things, and he does work with the MSG studio team as well sometimes. So I think he'll probably stay in that role. I would love Bob Wischusen. I have to say he's from ESPN. You again, if you heard his voice, you'd know it. He does the most hockey content for ESPN in terms of like he kind of tends to be the play-by-play guy on ESPN, like their marquee games and stuff. I love him. I think he's arguably the best hockey guy from ESPN's team.
Hmm.
Not that that's saying much, considering when they just get like former players and they throw them out there and they just hope they sound nice, and then they just end up being guys being dudes, and you can't even watch it. But
I hate it.
regardless, he knows what he's doing. So I really wouldn't be opposed to him up there as well. The Valley one I saw is like a dark horse thing. I
Eh,
think he should stay in the studio.
yeah.
Honestly, he has some of the best like analytical takes and analysis in hockey and in sports in general. I mean, the guy, he knows what he's talking about, especially when you get into goalies and defense. I mean, he was a goalie himself, but even outside the Rangers, I mean, he has some phenomenal analysis and some phenomenal. He does a really good job in the studio. So he has obviously great personality. I think he would do a good job, but I really hope he stays in the studio. So with all that being said, I personally think Kenny Albert is going to be the guy. I would like Kenny Albert to be the guy. If not, I would definitely throw Bob Wachus in there. But I think he's more of a national kind of guy. I don't think he would take a local spotlight there. So with all that being said, I mean, I'm curious, who do you want replacing Rosen? Is there another name you heard or anything like that?
I would pick Doc Emmerich out of retirement.
Right. How awesome. Dude, that'd be legendary.
Dude, I
Oh,
miss
goodness,
his announcing. Him and
dude,
Sam are
I
like
can
one
still
and
hear his
two.
voice when he called that one, the Blackhawks.
Oh my god.
Was it the overtime
No,
winner from Patty Kane,
yeah,
right?
it was like Taves to Kane, and
Yep.
then oh my
Oh, that
god,
was legendary, dude.
he's got such a great voice. Such a in the old like the 2010 to 16 NHL games, like him and Eddie Olczyk as the announcers. That was awesome.
Yeah.
The new one is absolutely horrendous.
I can't even play it because I don't own a console, and
Yeah,
you have
that
to
too.
port
I've
it
just
over
been
to
playing
PC for some
FIFA.
reason.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
just been playing FIFA. But all jokes aside, as though Doc Emmerich would be good. I agree with you with your pick. I got to do a little more deep dive into the
Mm.
announcers. I've just been so numb to the season and the
Yeah.
sadness of Sam Rosen that I'm not really too sure. I think as long as they can bring the same excitement, um, and Sam does a good job of being unbiased. Like if the
Mhm.
enemy, if the opposing team scores, he'll still have like that shock and excitement in his voice. But you can tell that when like he calls a Rangers goal, it's just so much better. And
Yeah,
like you can tell,
and
like
he is a fan of this team. I mean, when you're with this team for so long, like I don't know if you saw the clip of when he called the first goal we scored in the Canucks game. Just the excitement, like the physical, like watching him get excited as he's
oh, I
calling it
love
was
that.
just
Yeah, his hands
incredible.
going
Like
up in the air.
we're
I was
never gonna get
actually,
anybody like that
oh
of
yeah,
that,
no,
honestly. And if we do it, I think it takes years for somebody to get to that point. But
yeah, I
I
was,
do like your point about like getting someone in there who's excited. Like I
yes,
really hope we get a
and
guy like
isn't
that.
like what's his name? He sucks. The bald guy does the ESPN who has like no emotion
Oh,
towards
oh my God, the freaking
McDonald
the
or
Boston Homer. Oh, I can't
yeah,
stand him.
can't
Sean McDonough, freaking Homer. Talk about biased,
yeah.
unbiased. If Boston's on, they're the best team that's ever played the sport that they're playing at the time,
Oh
and
yeah.
anybody else is just making mistakes, and they're only winning because Boston's making mistakes. Like
As long as
oh
Boston's
my
making mistakes.
God. And he picks like three players for the game that are like the only players he wants to talk about.
Yep.
Anytime they do anything, he's like, and here they are again. That's the best player on the ice, people. But then if they make a mistake, he's like quiet. Oh, I can't even, bro.
As as
He
long as
gets
it's
ripped
some
on online so much. He
yes,
deserves
I
it.
hate him. As long as it's not someone like him or for any NFL fans, Joe Buck. As long as it's nobody like that, we're okay. I'll always
Okay.
be scarred by as a Giants fan, I'll always be scarred by the David Tyree catch and the single, like, most
Mhm.
lackluster, uncaring announcing I've ever heard. One of the craziest, like, I know it's been talked to ad nauseum, but it's so true. Like, craziest dying moments of a game, like once in a lifetime catch you'll ever see. And he's like, and Eli in the pocket, and it's up, and it's caught by
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Terry. Like that was it's like the word absolute word in the Super Bowl. It wasn't like a week 3
And
game.
that was one
Like,
of the
oh my
biggest catches in that
god.
whole game. Like,
Yeah, and it
brother.
was 3rd down, like, Eli almost got sacked, his pads were showing, he was getting, like, ripped off. David Terry catches it with one hand on his helmet while getting tackled to set
Hmm.
up a first down so that they get the winning touchdown, and it's up, and caught by David Terry, yeah. So, as long as we don't get that, I'll be okay, but I
Valid.
don't think we will. Yeah.
He's calling. It's opening day right now. Yankees opening. I was watching the game before
Oh,
we were
yeah.
recording, and he's calling the game. Of course, it's on ESPN.
Oh, Jesus
And yeah,
Christ.
he made a couple mistakes earlier today. Actually, that's why I was laughing when he brought up Joe Buck. But before we get into the doom and gloom that is the New York Rangers, and I think we did a good job here keeping that part of the episode a little bit shorter for you guys, so you don't have to listen to us just kind of complain for a little while, because that has been a
Yeah,
lot of
absolutely.
what we've been talking about recently. I think we'll get a word from our lovely sponsors, DraftKings, in here before we roll into that stuff.
Yes. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out, except ours. And games left for you to get in at the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you're new to DraftKings, new customers can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. And that is by going to the App Store, downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and using code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yes, it is. And thank you to our lovely sponsors, DraftKings, the Hockey Podcast Network, of course. And yeah, we'll segue into, a little bit of conversation here, obviously, about the Rangers, how they're playing. I mean, that's what you guys really come here for. But it is just sad. Being the optimistic guy, I'm having a hard time staying that way. And John has commended me recently, as I have yet to lose hope. I still believe in this team. And I think the other day you literally texted me and we were like, "You're a brave man for still believing in this team."
I
But
did.
it
I
ain't
did
over
say that.
until it's over. Listen, there's no fat lady singing right now. We are 1 point outside of a playoff spot, that being the last wild card in the East. So I still choose to believe. At this point, I'm in so deep, and I love this team, and I want them to win. Obviously, you guys listening as well I would hope would be in the same boat as us. But yeah, it's been disheartening. I really I look at that Canucks game in particular. We get a W, but 12 shots on goal all game. And I think one thing in particular that I look at in that game, the only reason that I think we didn't totally crumble and fall apart is that we weren't like losing. If you really look at it, like the Canucks only had a lead for, I mean, they had a lead for about a period in terms of total time, because this team, and you'll see it consistently happen, they can come out hard, they could play hard in the second, third, whatever time of the game period is. Like they'll come out and they'll have times where they do play hard and they try, but as soon as something that happens that's demoralizing, it's like that's it. You lose them. You lose the guys. It doesn't matter how hard they were trying, how hard they were skating, how many chances they were getting, how many opportunities they were getting. If we get scored on a rush because one of our D guys pinched in the zone or because we made a stupid play in the neutral zone, that's it. The guys lose. It's like they lose all drive, they lose all hope, and you see them basically just bag skating the rest of the game. And every now and then you'll see a push where you're like, oh, that guy looks like he cares, and it's usually JT Miller. And if it's not, it's sometimes Will Borgen or some of these guys. Obviously, there are players on this roster who don't play consistently well, but they'll have moments where they put some of that effort forth. But when we have those type of demoralizing moments, they don't pick their heads up. They don't bounce back well. And that's, I think, one of the only reasons that we didn't completely crumble in this game with 12 shots on net is because we were only losing for a total of 20 minutes. Because then obviously Foxy scores in the second, we scored in the third, they tie it, we score again, they tie it, we score again, end up winning the game. So it's really, really disheartening just seeing that then carry into the Kings game. I actually got to watch a little bit of that game. I was at work. I had a little bit of a break because it was like a late night game. My patients were kind of sleeping by then, which was nice. And I was really disappointed because what I'm talking about literally happened in that game. There were points where I was watching kind of like the middle portion of the game. We were flying around. We were actually getting opportunities. We were getting offensive zone time. I think we started and we were kind of on the back foot. The Kings were playing a lot of the time in our zone, but we weren't getting disheartened. We weren't falling apart. We weren't making huge mistakes. And then you get into the second, we score the first goal. We're winning for 8 minutes. What's that? And then boom, the Kings score on the power play. Another stupid penalty later in the period where we're losing 2-1, and from that point the game was basically over. I mean, portions of the third there, we couldn't even get the puck out of the zone. Couldn't really get any real opportunities, any real rushes up the ice. It's very disheartening. Again, there's still time, there's still games, but where's the drive? Where is the motivation and the belief and the power and the passion to match the fans? Because honestly, at this point in the year, it's like the fans have been more into the season than the players. And at this point, a lot of our fans aren't even into the season because the players have kind of given up and been checked out for weeks here, even months.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of putting all that out there and interested on your thoughts. Of course, I kind of think I know where you're at here, but just really disheartening stuff. A lot of the same stuff that we've been talking about from this team. And then like they interview Mika in the locker room and he said, "Oh, we're playing good hockey. It's the puck's not falling our way."
Yeah.
You're playing good hockey. You had 35 total shots over 2 games. 12 in the Canucks game.
Yeah.
There's virtually no 5v5 offense. When's the last time we scored a power play goal? But you're playing good hockey, right? I mean, come on, pull your head out of your ass.
No, I agree.
Where is this good hockey? Because you play good hockey for like 30 seconds here, a minute here, 5 minutes here, but then the other 50 minutes of the game and the other 45, it's awful hockey. So, good hockey, my ass. Let's call a spade here. And even I'm a little bit more frustrated than I usually get. So take a breath here, and I'm interested in your thoughts.
Yep, call a spade, call a duck a duck. Yeah, horrible from Mika too, and the attitude. And he had also had a bad quote from that game too. He was like, if we won, I'm trying to think how he said it. He said like, if we won this game like the way we played, it would be okay, but like losing the game this way was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It Even if you won the game playing that absolutely horrible, that's not acceptable. Like you can't. That right there speaks volumes to me of the mentality of this team. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
so checked out with this team and this phantom playoff push that I think of. Even though I understand mathematically and your point, yes, it is not over until it's
Mm-hmm.
over. I'm just waiting for that tweet from Elliot Friedman that the Rangers are mathematically out of the playoffs. But
Yeah.
it is this offseason needs to be drastic and also not too drastic. So the way I think of it is we need to get aging, regressing veterans out of here. This can't be a resort for veterans anymore like it has been these last couple of years. And you've seen the last couple of years too. Any player we've had in the pipeline has been squished into zero production because of these veterans. These veterans command all this ice time, all this
Mm-hmm.
attention, all this treatment, and it's not good for our farm of prospects. I do not want to see, Brendan Othman. People are angry about how the limited time he's getting, and he doesn't even have an NHL point and this and that. But I mean, even before he came up, he didn't look that great. Like let's calm down. But if Gabe Perreault comes up and he's getting put on the fourth line and he's getting no time, I'm going to be pissed. Like enough of this bull crap with having these young players that we're
Mm-hmm.
super excited about, and then oh yeah, you're gonna play like 5 minutes a night, and like yeah, okay, sounds good. I think this offseason we need to change a lot of the locker room. We need to establish new leadership, and that leadership also goes with the coach. I think it's time for a new coach. I'm changing my point of view from months ago, an episode where I was like, no, I think it is still mainly on the players. I want to put that out there,
Mm-hmm.
but Laviolette has been miserable with accountability. He has had bad practices. We've talked about in the past too. No accountability in practice, no accountability in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it's unfortunate and it's annoying how it works in hockey, but these players don't give a crap about him as a coach or a leader. They don't want to play hockey for him. As much as I disagree with that, it's just the nature of the game. You see it in all 31 other NHL teams. They all do it. I don't understand the psychology of hockey players. It's just how they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're, stubborn and stupid. And I think you have your key pieces in Fox, Igor, supposed to be Lafreniere. He's supposed to be another one. We'll see if he pulls his head out of his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And, a few other young players. Panarin's got 1 year left. Well, Kreider's a whole story. Mika, I'd love to move on from, but he's got an anchor around us, so we'll see. JT Miller is JT Miller. Trocheck, even though he's been kind of annoying me too. They just need to reevaluate. And I think part of the reason they've been playing so horribly is because A, they don't want to pay for Laviolette. B, they're still mad at Drury for what he did. C, there's players there that know they're not going to be there at the start of the next season, so they don't care as much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think finally, D, they just want the season to be over. They want a fresh start. They don't want to play what, and they just want to forget about how this happened. So my worst case scenario, which is exactly what Drury did this season, is I don't want him to wait till October of 2025 to be like, okay, coaching change, this change, that change. Do it in
Mhm.
the offseason. You think Laviolette shouldn't be the coach anymore? Soon as we either make the playoffs and don't go far, or miss the playoffs and it's done, fire him. Get a new coach, have a whole offseason with the new coach. Do not wait for like 2 weeks into the season and be like, all right, we're gonna make a change. I don't want to
Mhm.
repeat it this season where you waited till November to be like, okay, Trooper's gone, this player's gone, this player's gone, we'll get rid of this guy, and then everybody stops playing hockey. And we go on a 20-game stretch of being like 3-17. I don't want that. That's the worst case scenario. We did that this year. You saw what happened. Drury has shown me for the most part, and I think other fans, that he is a guy who learns from his mistakes. I think for the most part, he kind of, like some of the, like for instance, Riley Smith. When we traded for Riley Smith, we officially lost like our last second round pick for the next couple of years. Now, when the season went to crap and we went through the trades, he got a second round pick back. Okay, now he understands that. Like I think that's a small example. So I think
Mhm.
hopefully he learned his damn lesson and doesn't have these crazy, changes in November. Now, again, devil's advocate, maybe he couldn't. Maybe he did everything in his power to move Trouba in the offseason. Just couldn't happen. Nobody was buying.
Mhm.
Nobody was picking up the phone. All right, whatever. But still, that's my thought. No half measures. I say it all the time. No half measures. And if you're going to change things, do it now. Don't wait.
That's valid. Yeah.
That's worst case scenario. I do think though, I don't want to pin 100% on Peter Laviolette, but the more this season spirals and like the more I'm reading and seeing about like how bad the practices are and how bad the accountability is and how a lot of these players have regressed, it's one of two things. A, they don't want to play for him, and B, I just don't think he can handle like how this has gone down. I mean, he's a legendary coach. Maybe not legendary. It's kind of tough. He's a very good coach. Um, but I think we need a change. And again, always be on the hunt for that culture changing or culture establishing coach, so we can have the Mike Sullivans, the Rob Brindamores, the John Coopers, whatever it may be. We need
Mhm.
that. I'm tired of this coach every 2 years, this coach next 2 years, like annoying. So that's my piece. That's what I'm thinking.
That's valid. I'll say I think I agree with a lot of the sentiment there in terms of like making the right moves this offseason. There definitely have to be some more drastic or bigger moves, but you also have to balance those out with some of the roster management type moves. And I'm really hopeful that we'll see enough of that kind of combination in the offseason that we're not going into next year with a totally different team, but a team that is different enough at the core where the support pieces are in the right place and we can hopefully get a little bit of a better, not even a little bit, a significantly better effort from these players. That's the most important thing. I think the one thing that I push back a little bit on is getting Laviolette out so soon. I think to kind of break the cycle of getting rid of a coach every 2 or 3 years, at a certain point you have to commit to a guy. I mean, look at the core of this team and how many coaches we went through with the core of this team still being there, and that should send enough of a message that it really doesn't matter what coach you put in that box. The players are only going to listen to him until a certain point. The players are only going to follow suit to a certain point. They're only going to play that system to a certain point. I mean, we've talked about this previously where we've seen a lot of moments this year where we're not even playing sound fundamental hockey. It doesn't matter if you have John Cooper behind the bench or Mike Sullivan behind the bench. It doesn't matter if you have the best coach in any sport ever behind the bench. If the players can't even play simple fundamental hockey correctly, what does it? It doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It means zero zilch. Doesn't matter who is yelling at them, talking to them. If they're not responding, they're not bouncing back. They're not putting the effort that they need to put on the ice to make the right plays, and even not even the right plays, just the simple, easy plays when they're there. Again, it doesn't matter who's behind the bench. So I do hope that we give Laviolette a little bit more of a shot. I think that at some point we have to break the cycle. We can't kind of sit in our hands and expect one of those culture changing kind of guys to come to us. We either need to hope that we have a guy in place that can be that culture shift and kind of cause that change. Or, maybe we can, one of these assistant coaches, somebody in the organization that we really like, can be somebody that can come up and make a serious change. I mean, we saw Knobloch go to the Oilers, and listen, a lot of that team does what they need to do themselves with McDavid and Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard and everything there. But that's an example right there of a guy that we had literally in our farm system coaching the Wolfpack, ended up coaching the Rangers for a little bit in an interim role and through COVID and stuff. And then you see him get shipped out, and now you're looking at him succeeding somewhere else. So we could have an answer in our organization as well. But if that is the truth, then I'd hope you'd give Laviolette a little bit more time with this team, give that person a little bit more time to develop, maybe come up next year, whatever the case may be. But I think that'd be my only pushback. I do have to agree with pretty much everything else you had said there in terms of the changes we need to see, specifically coming into this offseason here. But like I said, this season is still not over. Roll right into, I guess, our first time score predictions here to talk about some games that are very winnable coming up here, and which is like another reason that I still have a
I've
little
heard
bit of
that
hope here.
before.
But this weekend, dude,
True.
we got 2 games here that we should knock out of the park. Should being the key word there.
Heard that before. Yeah.
But I'll give us a little lowdown. We are still tied. You are winning the first time scorers shindig here, 4-2. The Leafs game, the Canucks game, and the Kings game. Neither of us, predicted correctly. You had Miller, I had Panarin in the Leafs game, and the first time scorer was Borgen. You had Trocheck, I had Mika in the Canucks game. First time scorer was Fox. And our only score in the Kings game was JT Miller. Of course, that's the one game that neither of us had Miller in there. I had Cooley and you had Mika. So, yeah, like I said, we are still at the same spot here, but very winnable games here. So with the Ducks game coming up, I'm going to throw my first prediction in here, and I'm going to give Laugh a shot. I'm going to throw a flyer out on Laugh here. This is an easy team, a team that we should skate circles around. Good opportunity for a guy like Laugh to maybe get a goal and get some confidence behind him.
Okay. Going Panarin.
All right, I like it. He's actually the only one on this team who's been kind of a bright spot. But even at that, he's had a down year here. I mean, really not doing
Even
what
though
you're
he's
used to
got
seeing him doing.
an 11-game point streak, means nothing.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
It's kind of funny when you say he's having a down year and he's at 75 points, and like you said, he's on that point streak. But they're really not amounting to much of anything, and that's kind of the big issue there. Who do you have scoring first in the Sharks game?
Can I pick a Sharks player? I'm gonna do Sam Carrick. Yeah, he just had him and his wife just had a son, so
I like
maybe I
that.
should have picked him for the last game, but oh well, that's my pick.
That's all right. A Saturday night, he's gonna come out here and want to score one for the boy. I like it. You know what? I got Braden Schneider for no reason, just because I feel like he's actually been flying around the ice recently. And then the Wild game, I'm gonna take a page out of our book from before, and I got JT Miller scoring first in that game.
I'll go with Mika.
Okay, all right. So let's see. Ducks game, you got Panarin, I got Laugh. Sharks game, you got Carrick, I got Schneids. And the Wild game, you got Mika, I got JT. So we'll see. Hopefully I get a couple here, and 4-2 scoreline with like 10 games left. It's looking pretty good for you lucky one over there.
We'll see. We don't even know what a prize would be. I don't know.
I know we never really figured. We kind of just been rolling with this. So have to come up with something fun. But nonetheless, I think we've gone on here and kind of complained about this team and it talked a little positively as well. But I think suffice to say, I think we've got enough out there for you guys. Hopefully, not too much negativity. Again, there's been a lot of negativity around this team, but I'm about ready to close this out here. If you had anything else before we hop off,
no, I'm all set.
All right. Well, then I'll start rolling us out of this one. Thank you all for listening again. Thank you for all the love and support. Even though this team has not given us a lot of fun stuff to talk about, we still appreciate you all coming on here, listening to us. Whether it is negative, positive, good, bad, ugly, all the stuff in between, we do appreciate all the love and support, and we still enjoy coming on here. Whether it is good stuff, bad stuff, we still love this team, and we're very passionate about this team. We hope that comes across to you listening here, and we hope that you enjoy the content we are putting out there for you guys. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll catch you on the next one with hopefully, like I said, big weekend here. It's an opportunity for us to get a couple wins against some really, really shoddy teams over in the West, and we got the Wild next week, who are slipping themselves. They could be in trouble, so really good opportunity for us. Hopefully, we have a few wins to talk to you guys about next week. With that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. I'll shoot John to close us out on this one.
Yep, as Matt said, very winnable games this weekend, and as I said before, I've heard that one before, and I agree with him. Though I really hope for the best. I hope this team can come together, whether it's this season or next season, build some camaraderie that we saw before. It's been kind of shattered, but we will see how that goes. I know it's tough to listen, it's tough to watch. I know some of the numbers on our end have gone down a little bit, and completely understand that. But we really do appreciate those who stick around even in the tough times, and we welcome with open arms for those who come back when things are better. So really appreciate. Tell your friends, family, loved ones, even your enemies about this show. We would appreciate it. Check out our social, Twitter, X, BlueBuzz26. And we appreciate, again, all the love and support. So have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and let's get ready to watch some hockey and hopefully not be absolutely dejected and depressed. So, all right, Ranger fans, thank you again, and we will catch you on the next one.